Hello guys and welcome to a new video. Today's video is a little bit unfortunate. I will tell you all about my first experience with the practical exam where I failed. I will tell you what happened, what were my mistakes and what went wrong, what I think would be a good suggestion or recommendation for avoiding the failing case. So first I will start by telling you exactly what are the steps to go through this exam and what were the questions that I got, what were the cases that I went through, and then I will tell you why I think I have failed, hoping that this will help you to avoid failing when you will be doing this practical exam by yourself. So basically my first attempt was on the 24th of November, just like few weeks before the second lockdown. I don't want you to be nervous or anything. I'm recording this video after I got my license and right now I have it. So I got it from the second try. I'm just recording this video in order to give advice and give you information why I had this situation where I had to fail. So first of all, you will be told about the date of the exam a few days before. I was told about the date of my exams around 2 weeks or 1 week and a half before the actual date. And starting this time when the trainer told me about the date, she started giving me every day a lesson. Then just few days before, like around 2 or 3 days before the exam, she told me exactly which time. So not just the day, she will tell me also which time. So my exam was in the morning. She told me to go to the TÜV at 9:30 in the morning, but the exam was basically around 10:30, so she would tell you to come earlier. Now I suggested that time that we meet as usual in the LD and we go from there, not from the TÜV, just in order to remove all the stress that I have. The day before the exam she will give you also a checklist, and this is how she did it with me. She gave me a small paper where she was writing that I have to bring with me my ID, basically the Ausweis. I also brought the passport, but it's not necessary, the ID is enough. And she would also remind you to bring your glasses if you wear glasses. In my case, I was wearing contact lenses, so I also had to remember to wear contact lenses. But those are the two things. She wrote also stuff like, yeah, don't forget to eat, don't forget to drink and stuff like this. We started from Aldi, which was the first mistake. She asked me to come to the TÜV, and from there we will sit and relax for around an hour or half an hour until a proofer or an examiner is ready or free. But I didn't listen. I asked her to come to Aldi, just in order to drive from Aldi to TÜV, so I would relieve some nervousness. Yeah, the thing is that on the way from Aldi to TÜV, I don't remember what I did, but I think I made some mistake or something, or I hesitated to do something. Then she got angry and she started shouting at me. This made me so much nervous and actually increased my stress. Of course she shouldn't be doing this, but the trainer would want you to pass just like you want to pass. So her stress reflected also on me. And then we got to the TÜV. Then she started telling me that she would want me to wait outside. She would have to pick someone and then come back, and we literally spent like half an hour just coming into the car, going out of the car, coming in the car, going out of the car. So I didn't relax. I was just moving around all the time. I didn't have the time to just sit down, do absolutely nothing. That was the second mistake. Then the examiner came. I said my name is Shaya and I gave him my ID. Then he would ask me, where are your glasses? I told him that I'm wearing contact lenses, and I made a joke that I don't want to look like this one. So we all laughed. I was just trying to break the ice, and the proofer actually was so nice. Of course, also the trainer told me just like last check, is everything okay? Are you doing well? Are you sick? Are you feeling sick or something? I was terrified, but of course I said yes, I'm fine. So we got on I have already done all the setup, so I have changed this height, the distance to the steering wheel, the inner mirror, the outside mirror, all the stuff. So I told him that I did this already, and I explained to him what I did. And then he asked me theoretical questions. So the first theoretical question was so easy, of course. He told me where's the horn, the Hupe, and then he told me where's the Warnblinker, the warning blinker, and then I showed it to him, and then he would ask me to turn it on. Then he asked me where's the Fernlicht. I also turned it, showed it to him, and I turned it on, and then he would ask me how do you check that it's working. I told him that you see this blue light. Then he asked me where's the Schlussnebelleucht. I also showed it to him, and I turned it on. That was all fine. And I was happy that he asked me, because I prepared those questions pretty well. Then he told me like, okay, then start the car and go on. He actually didn't give me any instructions where to go, whether to go right or left, because we had this sign just right after I go out of my parking place. So I went right, that was okay. I did the blinker, Schulterblick, and then I went to the right hand side. And just right when I did this, the car started making noises. There was like a warning noise all around the place, and this was the first time that I heard this sound. I don't know this, and I didn't go through this before. What did I do wrong? There is no cars around me, so it wasn't that case. So I started recalling what did I do. So when you start turning on the car, of course you have to let down the Handbremse, the handbrake. I thought, well, maybe it wasn't totally down or something, I'm not sure. So I looked right in front of me. There was this sign, and then I realized, okay, I know the sign is Handbremse, definitely Handbremse. So I checked it. It turned out it was down, but not totally down. So it was still on. So I had to take it down. I did so. But of course, there was some awkward moments. Like I had few seconds I was waiting in front of the traffic light, just wondering what is wrong. And the examiner told me, he just told me that, are you aware what is going on? And then I told him like, give me a second. And then I realized what was wrong. Of course, I avoided the failing because I knew what to do, but it was a very stressful situation. So my mind was still at this point where I have made a mistake. So you can imagine how the rest of the road was. I was shaking. I was still nervous. In my mind, I was saying, what a stupid mistake. But he didn't say that I failed. And I remember that the trainer told me, if he didn't say that you failed, just carry on. Because it's like, it will be considered as a small mistake, but if you do another mistake, it will accumulate and then you would fail. And then once you come out from the tooth, he told me to go right and all the stuff. I was driving, and then there was an LKW just standing in the middle of the way, so you would have to move around it. I'm just speaking the situations where I could have made a mistake. Then we went through a very narrow street where I had to realize in advance that I have to stop and wait because I have the cars in front of me and the opposite direction was free. So you have to allow the cars to come through first and then you would carry on. So I waited, which is usually something very difficult for me. I used to just go forward. So I avoided this other mistake. Of course, they don't count the good stuff that you have done. They only count the bad stuff that you have done. So I drove already like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Then we have reached a point where he told me to go right. It was a crossing. And you have, of course, to take care that you have to stay on the right line and all the stuff. So I did all of that correctly. Then when I reached the point where I have to really take the right, we call this abbiegen, I did the Spiegel, Blinker and Schulterblick, and I just directly went to go to the right. So I was starting to move the car forward. What was a really huge mistake that I made is that I didn't look to the other side. So I looked to the right because I'm turning right, but I forgot to have a look on the left. So like the rule is to look forward, then Schulterblick, then the Ampel. The traffic light is the last step. Of course she said it to me, but it hasn't happened before that we have somebody passing. And in the exam it was the case. So I was turning right and there was somebody passing the street. And of course I didn't look to the left hand side. Now she apparently have seen that I haven't seen him. Of course it wasn't yet dangerous. So of course I was in the process, but I did it not in the right order. So I did the Schulterblick, I looked at the traffic light, it's still green, but I didn't do the first step, which is looking to the other side, like forward and to the other side. So she apparently have seen that I didn't do this step. She did this emergency brake. And this is when I failed. I did not believe what happened because I was still in the phase of processing all the stuff that happened. Why did she do that? And like how and why and where did this guy come from as well? I was still away from him, so he wasn't afraid or anything, but we were just standing in the middle of the street, and she would tell me like Hände Füße weg, like take away everything. I wouldn't drive any longer, and he would continue to the Tuf. And I was like still in this phase of the shock, what just happened, because yeah, I mean, I think some people went through the same situation. You know the feeling. Usually once you finish, it doesn't matter whether you have failed in the first minute or the 45 minutes. You will pay the same amount of money, you will go home just right after you fail, you will not be sitting and discussing and all the stuff. So the proofer, just like when you reach back to the TÜV, he will give you this paper with all the possible mistakes that you could make. So it's like 22 cases. He marked actually for me 4 of them. I of course did 2 mistakes, one with the handbremse or the handbrake, and I of course did the other mistake, which was the big mistake with this person who was walking down the street, but he marked 4. Now I asked also why it was like 4 of them marked. Well, then he would tell me that the one mistake with the person who was walking would include three topics. So it's like they divide the topics not based on the mistakes, the exact mistakes you make, it's about the principles behind this mistake. So for me it was this one, this one, this one, and this one. He marked here that I did the mistake by abbiegen. He also marked this place here because it was mainly related to the basics. And then he would sign and yeah, tell me to go home. Yeah, it was, I would say, schade. But I learned a lot from this case. At that day I came back home, of course, very disappointed, very upset and mad at myself that I made this mistake. But of course the first day I think you cannot think clearly. So it's very advised that you go straight home, and I just went to sleep. Sleeping gave me the time to process all the stuff. So when I wake up, the trainer called me and she told me that okay, don't worry and all the stuff, and that we will do it again. I told her that the problem is she will be on vacation and she wouldn't have the chance to do the exam for me right away or something. So I was really negotiating with her to make it as soon as possible, and then she told me we are not allowed to do it until 2 weeks from the date you had the exam. So I had the exam on the 24th, I have to wait another 2 weeks. I think it was okay. She asked me to do some training days. I said no. I told her that I need a break because I felt so tired, and at some point I felt that I don't want to carry on. all bad negative feelings will come to you when you fail. I think it was the first time ever that I failed something not on purpose. Therefore, she told me afterwards that she will do her best to get me the earliest possibility. So I had another date on the 8th of December, which is awesome, but thank God. In the second time I passed. During those 2 weeks, the TÜV will send you again another bill to pay. You will be charged another 90 euros. And again, you would pay it just online. I think it has reached to me just like the next 2 days. So I failed the first day. After 2 days, I got the paper from the TÜV saying that I have to pay again for the second exam. So basically that was the whole story from the beginning till the end. But now I will just tell you like a summary what I think were the reasons why I failed. So first of all, I didn't start in the right way. I didn't listen to her. I didn't start from the TÜV. I started from Aldi. And this made this awkward situation and the stress situation. The second thing is that we weren't calm when we reached the TÜV. We were also doing things, going in and out, and yeah, not doing the right thing, I would say. The third thing is that I was still hanged to my mistake. When I forgot the handbrake, I was still living in my mistake. I was stressed out too much to the point that I couldn't handle and process all the information afterwards. The fourth mistake is actually the biggest mistake, is that I wasn't really taking the rule correctly. So usually she will tell me whenever you have to do the Abbiegen, you have to look for Schulterblick, Ampel. I think she wrote this to me only the first time I did the Abbiegen, the turning to the right or to the left. But all the 65 lessons, I have never had the situation where there is somebody passing the street. So I would be aware of this golden rule. It was always empty, so Schulterblick and looking at the Ampel is enough. I wouldn't have the situation where I would realize how important this rule is. The fifth mistake was that I only took vacation on that day. So I was working the day before, and we have a lot of things to do at work as well with Corona situation. It's just a lot of work and doing home office and all the stuff. It's just excuses, I know, but I was too tired the day before that I still had to read the notes after I finished my work. And I stayed up all night reading my notes, and I didn't finish my notes. So I was tired, I didn't sleep early, and I didn't finish my notes. So also when I went to the exam, I was still having in my mind this block that I haven't read all my notes. There is something missing. The other mistake that will really increase the stress level while you are driving is, in my case, I asked the trainer not to talk at all. I told her that I want to concentrate on driving and I don't understand everything you would say in German and all the stuff. So please don't make me stressful and don't talk. So the whole time they were absolutely silent, which is actually very awkward. You will be driving and in your head you'll start thinking, okay, why are they silent? Did I make a mistake? Did I do something wrong? So each and every move he will be doing, you will start thinking. This is very, very wrong. Let them talk. Concentrate on driving and don't listen to them. If they would talk to you, they will be really clear when they talk to you. And they will address you very loud and very clear. So don't worry about this point, and don't make my mistake. Of course it's up to you, but for me it was one of the situations that made my exam worse. Of course the exam itself is stressful. There is this new feeling that there is someone sitting behind and your body will start shaking. It's all normal. And I will tell you all about my second time, which was way much better than the first time. Because I went through this hard situation, I learned how to be better in the second time. So if you fail, don't worry. Just keep it up and keep going forward and keep trying. It's very normal to fail this kind of test, and it's very important that you try again. Try to take a deep breath and think, why did you make those mistakes? What were the reasons for your failure? I made a list actually of those mistakes, and I did my best to avoid those mistakes in the second time, and it actually worked out. I will share with you all my recommendations and how I organized all my stuff. I will also show you all the costs I had to pay and all the duration that I had to go through. I will also tell you about my experience when I passed and what were the situations and questions that I had. And by the way, during my 65 lessons, I have always recorded like a short video after I finished my lesson. I think it's a great opportunity to make you aware of what you would be learning and what were the critical situations that I went through while driving, what were the mistakes, which one of them are, so to say, fatal or will make you fail in the exam. So make sure to subscribe and keep watching my channel, because I think those are interesting videos, and I hope they will be helpful for everyone. In case you are doing your exam soon, I really wish you best of luck, and I also wish you enjoy it. Please do, because driving is really exciting. I thank you again for watching, and I wish you a great day. Take care of yourself and see you in the next video.